Welcome to the new studio, Film Club. Yes, that's correct. You're going, wait, I've never seen you next to a tree in Groot before. Well, believe me when I tell you, I'm in a new place. I'm still safely quarantined, so that's cool. But yeah, we're enjoying this new place, and so therefore, we're in a new studio. Did you guys watch the movie this week? If you didn't, you missed out on a really good one. We watched Peter Weir's Picnic at Hanging Rock. Let me try that again. We watched Peter Weir's Picnic at Hanging Rock, and it is so good, man. I had not really heard of this movie very much, but thanks to the Criterion Collection, which if you don't have, I really can't recommend it enough. It's the streaming service that's getting me through this quarantine. Yes, it's another service that you sign up for, but it's like $100 for the whole year. And if you wanted to buy just one Criterion Blu-ray, it'd be like $40. So you could spend $100 and just watch all of them all year long if you want, and you'll have more access to the movies that we pick in this here club, because we tend to pick a lot from the Criterion channel. But Picnic at Hanging Rock, I had heard of it. I want to say Barry Jenkins might have mentioned it. There's this great series on the Criterion channel called Adventures in Moviegoing, where different actors and filmmakers and writers and things will sit down and talk about some of their favorite films of all time. And this one keeps coming up. Patton Oswalt recently did a Adventures in Moviegoing where he spoke about this film. There were another couple people that have picked it. So it was always one of those titles that I had not really known a whole lot about. But then as I would hear other filmmakers in particular talk about it, I just felt like it was something I had to see and maybe we would all enjoy together. But yeah, Peter Weir is a spectacular director. If you don't know him from this film, you may know him from his work Dead Poets Society, which he directed, and The Truman Show. So if you've seen those films, you know who we're dealing with. But this is something that he did in Australia, where he's from, in 1975. And from an interview that I watched with him, actually, I saw that at the time in Australian filmmaking, they didn't really do adaptations of books because that was like the big shots. That's what they did overseas, as he says. So this particular production was actually like a big deal for Australian cinema. And it was, from what I understand, it did really well when it came out for a small foreign art house film. But yeah, it is I believe it is based on a true story. But it's definitely based on this book, so there's that. But yeah, we follow these girls in 1900. It is Valentine's Day, and they are in Australia, and they are about to go on a picnic to Hanging Rock, which is this kind of mystical place that has bubbled out of the ground about 1 million years ago, and they're going to go have a nice picnic there. And once they arrive there, we see all these young girls in their flowing white dresses laying about under the beautifully lit canopy of trees. It is such a beautifully lit movie. So often I would watch, because it's shots of the girls just sitting around, really like enjoying this beautiful piece of nature. But as I would look at it, it looked a lot like a J.W. Waterhouse painting. If you're not familiar with him, go Google it and you'll know kind of what I'm talking about. But it's these fairy-like women just kind of in their youth, just enjoying each other and this beautiful space. But you find pretty quickly that there's this mood bubbling underneath, very much helped by a score that I can't think of a score that all by itself sets a tone better than this film. Because if you took the score out of this movie, it wouldn't really be a creepy movie. But it is kind of a creepy movie, and a lot of it comes from this music. It's this pan flute score, and one of the things that Peter Weir in that same interview I was talking about, he was mentioning wanting to fill the movie with music that was like pre-Christianity, like just very aboriginal in its nature. This primal human music. As these girls from 1900 are on their picnic, this pan flute music really kind of winds up giving you this sense that this rock that they're at has this sort of mystical element to it. And of course, the girls are told that they shouldn't go have any tomboy foolishness on the rock because it's dangerous. There are poisonous snakes. In a speech that is so great by Rachel Roberts, who's an actress I'm not very familiar with, but she plays the headmaster at this all-girls school. And she does a great job of really kind of like grounding the whole thing in reality, because as you watch the film, like I said, there is this kind of mystical darkness kind of bubbling underneath it all. But then you have this very real, very rigid school life, academia element that it really kind of turns it into this tragedy all the more, because though there is this mystery overlying the whole film as to where these women disappeared to, because I didn't mention it, but a couple girls do enjoy some tomboy foolishness. They go on a walk and they never come back. They never come back. And even one of the teachers winds up, you don't know if she went up to go find them or if she was answering a similar call to the rock. But either way, we definitely have missing people, and we are nervous and scared, and people are on the look, and there are watch parties and search parties trying to find these girls, and they never turn up. And so there is a part of watching this movie where you kind of have to go into it knowing a little bit that you're not going to get the payoff that you might think you want. But the thing that this film does really well is actually kind of makes you okay in a weird way. I don't even really like how that sounds, but kind of makes it okay that we never find them, because the tone and the feeling of the movie is really more why we're here. And there's so many pieces of it all that do kind of add to this chillingness. I had a friend actually, Anthony Adcock, what's up, buddy? Long time no see. Glad you're enjoying the club. But he had mentioned it's like this horror film without horror. And that's absolutely correct. I mean, it has the feeling of kind of like Midsommar, if you watched that last year. It has this kind, I don't even know, a culty kind of thing going on underneath, and yet you never really see anything happen that's very scary. The scariest thing is that you see them walk away and never return. And there is one of the girls who's with them who doesn't want to go and is, wait, Miranda! And she turns and screams and runs away in slow motion, which is another thing. The director said in the interview that I watched, he shot some of it in this like slow motion, and he told the actors when he was doing that not to like blink or anything, because he didn't want it to really look like it was happening in slow motion. And so when it's not blinking like that, you wouldn't really know if they're just kind of looking off and breathing. But by layering in kind of these slowed down shots, it just like gives the eye this feeling that something is off, and it worked perfectly. It was something that like I didn't fully key into while I was watching the film, but then after watching that interview, I was like, see, there's another reason why this movie is pretty original and pretty cool. I mean, I can't really think, there are movies, I guess, that are like it a little bit, but it really does feel kind of all by itself on this mountain. It's also kind of cool, as I was watching it, it's from 1975, and I kept kind of saying to myself, this looks like it's from the 80s, which then kind of made me think like, oh, it was ahead of its time. Look at me figuring things out. But yeah, Picnic at Hanging Rock, I'm so glad that we watched it. It's really a cool movie, and if I convinced you to get a Criterion Collection subscription, you should go ahead and maybe make this the first thing you watch, and then you'll be like, man, I wish I didn't watch that review beforehand, but I didn't give a whole lot away. So yeah, this is just another one of me doing another weekly roundup for us. We'll have another pick up tomorrow, so check this out. Hope you enjoyed it. Groot, what do you think of the new studio? He's freaking out! Love you guys. See ya.